My brother walked into the probate courtroom like he owned it. His Italian suit probably cost more than I made in a month teaching high school English. His attorney, a woman with steel gray hair and sharper eyes, carried a leather briefcase that looked like it could fund a small country. Behind them, Rob's wife smiled at me. It wasn't friendly. I sat alone at the respondent's table. My hands were folded in my lap, not because I was calm, but because I didn't trust them not to shake. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. The judge's bench loomed in front of me like a wall I couldn't climb. Rob didn't look at me. He never did anymore. Not since I'd said no. The bailiff called the case. Morrison versus Morrison. Petition for conservatorship and immediate access to life insurance benefits. The judge, a man in his 60s with reading glasses hanging from a chain, opened the file. This is regarding Patricia Morrison, age 71, currently residing with the respondent. Correct? Rob's attorney stood. That's correct, Your Honor. My client is Dr. Robert Morrison, a cardiologist at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The respondent is his younger sister, Jennifer Morrison, a high school teacher. Their mother was diagnosed with early-stage dementia 14 months ago. Dr. Morrison believes his mother's condition has deteriorated to the point where she can no longer make sound decisions about her care or finances. He's petitioning for conservatorship to protect her assets and ensure she receives appropriate medical care. The judge looked at me. Miss Morrison, you're opposing this petition? I stood. My chair scraped against the floor louder than I meant. Yes, Your Honor. I'm opposing it. On what grounds? I took a breath. On the grounds that my mother is not incapacitated. She's doing well. She's safe. And my brother hasn't visited her in 2 years. Rob's attorney smiled. It wasn't kind. Your Honor, with all due respect, Miss Morrison is not qualified to make that assessment. She has no medical training. She's emotionally involved. And frankly, the evidence will show that she's been isolating Mrs. Morrison from family members who care about her well-being. The judge raised a hand. We'll get to the evidence. Dr. Morrison, you're petitioning for conservatorship. That's a serious action. Walk me through why you believe this is necessary. Rob stood. He had that voice he used with patience. Calm, authoritative, trustworthy. Your Honor, my mother has a life insurance policy valued at $1.8 million. She also owns a home in Pasadena worth approximately $500,000. As her condition progresses, she's vulnerable to financial exploitation. I'm concerned that my sister, who has always struggled financially, may be unduly influencing our mother's decisions. I believe the most responsible course of action is to place Mother in a memory care facility where she can receive professional oversight and to put her assets under conservatorship to prevent any misappropriation. And the life insurance policy? If Mother were declared incompetent, the policy allows for early payout to cover long-term care costs. That money should be secured now, before it's too late. The judge wrote something down. Miss Morrison, you've been caring for your mother? I nodded. Yes, Your Honor. She lives with me. She's been living with me since the diagnosis. And prior to that, she lived alone. In her own home. But after the diagnosis, I moved in with her for 6 months. And then we decided it made more sense for her to move into my place. I have a spare bedroom. She's comfortable there. Has she seen a doctor? Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Elena Martinez is her neurologist. Mom sees her every 3 months. She's on medication. She's stable. Rob's attorney cut in. Your Honor, we have a competing medical assessment from Dr. Philip Chen, a geriatric psychiatrist with 30 years of experience. He examined Mrs. Morrison 3 weeks ago and determined that she lacks the capacity to manage her affairs. The judge frowned. Miss Morrison consented to this exam? I shook my head. No, she didn't. My brother arranged it without telling me. Dr. Chen spent 20 minutes with her at a coffee shop and wrote a report saying she was incapacitated. Your Honor, the attorney said smoothly, Mrs. Morrison was not held against her will. Dr. Morrison simply invited their mother to lunch and brought Dr. Chen along to observe. It was a casual assessment, but Dr. Chen is highly credentialed, and his findings are clear. The judge looked at the file again. And you have this report? We do. She pulled out a document and handed it to the clerk, who brought it to the bench. Dr. Chen's report is thorough. He noted significant memory impairment, confusion about current events, and an inability to recall basic financial information. He concluded that Mrs. Morrison is not competent to make decisions about her care. I felt my chest tighten. Your Honor, that's not. You'll have your turn, Miss Morrison. Rob's attorney wasn't done. We also have affidavits from concerned family members. She handed over another stack of papers. Dr. Morrison's wife. Two of Mrs. Morrison's neighbors from her former residence. All of them have expressed concern about Jennifer's control over their mother. They've noticed that Mrs. Morrison has become isolated, that she no longer attends church or social events, and that Jennifer has discouraged contact with other family members. The judge read through the affidavits. I watched his face. I couldn't tell what he was thinking. Miss Morrison, how do you respond to these allegations? I swallowed. My mother stopped going to church because it became overwhelming for her. Too many people. Too much noise. She gets anxious. As for family members, my brother hasn't called her in 2 years. He didn't come to her last birthday. He didn't come to Christmas. The only time he's shown interest is now, when there's money involved. Rob finally looked at me. His expression was neutral, but I knew that look. It was the same one he'd had when we were kids, and I'd caught him stealing from Mom's purse. Like I was the one doing something wrong. Your Honor, his attorney said, Dr. Morrison has a demanding career. He saves lives every day. He can't be expected to provide daily caregiving. That's why he's proposing professional care in a facility that specializes in dementia patients. It's the responsible choice. The judge looked at me. You're a teacher, correct? Yes, Your Honor. How are you managing caregiving while working full-time? I have flexibility. I work from 7 to 3. Mom is with me in the mornings. I have a neighbor, Mrs. Pham, who checks on her during the day. She's a retired nurse. She's known Mom for years. And in the afternoons, I'm home. We have a routine. Mom is safe. She's happy. And financially, you're able to support both of you? I hesitated. This was the part that made me look bad. It's tight. I make $48,000 a year. Mom's Social Security covers some expenses. But yes, we manage. Rob's attorney pounced. Your Honor, Miss Morrison recently refinanced her car. She's taken out 2 personal loans in the past year. She's clearly under financial strain. It's not unreasonable to question whether that strain is influencing her resistance to this petition. I refinanced my car because it broke down and I needed reliable transportation to get Mom to appointments. I took out loans to cover medical expenses that insurance didn't pay for. I'm not stealing from my mother. The judge held up a hand. I'm not accusing you of theft, Miss Morrison, but the court has to consider all possibilities. Dr. Morrison, you're asking me to declare your mother incompetent. That's a significant finding. It strips her of fundamental rights. I can't make that determination lightly. Rob stood again. Your Honor, I understand the gravity of this, but my mother is vulnerable. Every day that passes is another opportunity for something to go wrong. I'm asking you to act in her best interest. And the life insurance payout? You'd have access to that as conservator? The funds would be used for her care. I would provide regular accountings to the court. Everything would be transparent. The judge tapped his pen against the file. Miss Morrison, do you have legal representation? I shook my head. I can't afford an attorney, Your Honor. Do you have any witnesses or evidence to present? I looked down at my hands. This was it. The moment where I either trusted the plan or I didn't. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Your Honor, I said quietly, I'd like to request a brief recess. There's one more person who should be here. Rob's attorney stood. Your Honor, we've been here for an hour already. The respondent has had ample time to prepare. The judge looked at me. Who are you waiting for, Miss Morrison? I met his eyes. My mother's doctor, Dr. Elena Martinez. She's on her way. She has information the court needs to hear. Your Honor, the attorney said, we have Dr. Chen's report. We don't need another doctor's opinion. The judge frowned. Dr. Martinez is the treating physician? Yes, Your Honor. She's been Mom's neurologist since the diagnosis. She knows her case better than anyone. The judge checked his watch. How long? 15 minutes. Maybe 20. Rob's attorney looked annoyed. Your Honor, this is a delay tactic. I shook my head. It's not. I promise. Just please. Give her time to get here. The judge studied me for a long moment. Then he nodded. 20 minutes. We'll reconvene at 11:30. The bailiff called recess. Rob and his attorney stepped into the hallway. I stayed in my seat. My hands were still shaking. I pulled out my phone and checked the time. 11:12. I had a text from Dr. Martinez. Parking now. Be there in 5. I closed my eyes and tried to breathe. This had to work. It had to. At 11:28, the bailiff opened the courtroom doors. She was in her late 40s, with dark hair pulled back in a bun and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. She wore scrubs under a white coat. Behind her was Mom. She was in a wheelchair, pushed by a transport aide. She wore her favorite blue cardigan and the pearl earrings Dad had given her 40 years ago. Her hair was brushed, her lipstick was on. She looked small, but she looked dignified. Rob froze. His attorney's mouth opened slightly. Mom saw me and smiled. "Hi, sweetheart." I smiled back, even though my eyes were burning. "Hi, Mom." Dr. Martinez wheeled her to the front of the courtroom. The judge returned to the bench and looked down at them with surprise. "Your Honor, Doctor," Martinez said, "I'm Dr. Elena Martinez, board-certified neurologist. I've been treating Patricia Morrison for 14 months. I apologize for the delay. I came as quickly as I could after Miss Morrison called me this morning." The judge leaned forward. "Dr. Martinez? You brought the patient to court? With her permission? Yes. Mrs. Morrison wanted to be here. She has things she'd like to say." Rob stood. "Your Honor, my mother is not competent to testify. The judge cut him off. "Sit down, Dr. Morrison. I'll determine who testifies in my courtroom." He looked at Mom. His expression softened. "Mrs. Morrison, how are you feeling today?" Mom looked right at him. Her voice was steady. "I'm feeling angry, Your Honor, and I'm feeling sad, but I'm not feeling confused." The judge nodded slowly. "Do you understand why you're here?" "Yes. My son wants to take my money and put me in a home, and I don't want either of those things." Rob's attorney stood. "Your Honor, Mrs. Morrison may appear lucid now, but dementia patients often have moments of clarity that don't reflect their overall condition." Dr. Martinez pulled a folder from her bag. "Your Honor, I have Mrs. Morrison's complete medical records. I also have the results of a cognitive assessment I administered yesterday, as well as video documentation of her daily functioning over the past 3 months." The judge gestured for the clerk to take the documents. "Video documentation?" "Yes. After Miss Morrison informed me of this petition, I began recording my sessions with Mrs. Morrison. I also asked Jennifer to document their daily routine. With Mrs. Morrison's permission." "Of course." Mom nodded. I said yes. I wanted people to see the truth. The judge opened the folder. He read in silence for several minutes. Rob shifted in his seat. His attorney whispered something to him. Finally, the judge looked up. "Dr. Martinez, summarize your findings." Dr. Martinez took a breath. "Mrs. Morrison has early-stage Alzheimer's disease. That diagnosis is accurate. However, her condition is stable. She scores a 26 out of 30 on the mini mental state examination, which indicates mild cognitive impairment, not incapacity. She can manage her activities of daily living with minimal assistance. She understands her medical condition and her treatment plan. She's capable of making informed decisions about her care." And Dr. Chen's assessment? Dr. Martinez's jaw tightened. Dr. Chen spent 20 minutes with Mrs. Morrison in a noisy coffee shop. He did not administer any standardized cognitive tests. He did not review her medical history. He asked her questions designed to confuse her, like what year it was or who the vice president was, details that many cognitively intact people can't recall under stress. His report is not a comprehensive evaluation. It's a snapshot taken in the worst possible conditions. The judge looked at Rob. "Dr. Morrison, you arranged this evaluation?" Rob's attorney answered. "Dr. Chen is a respected professional. His methods may be unorthodox, but his conclusions are valid." "Your Honor," Dr. Martinez said, "may I show the court something?" The judge nodded. Dr. Martinez pulled out a laptop and set it on the witness stand. She opened a video file. The screen showed Mom sitting in Dr. Martinez's office. In the video, Dr. Martinez asked, "Patricia, can you tell me what medications you're taking?" Mom listed them, all 5, correctly. "And why are you taking them?" "Donepezil for memory, memantine to slow progression, atorvastatin for cholesterol, lisinopril for blood pressure, and aspirin because everyone my age should take aspirin." Dr. Martinez smiled in the video. "Good. Now, can you tell me about your living situation?" "I live with Jennifer. She's my daughter. She takes care of me. We have breakfast together every morning. She makes me oatmeal with blueberries because they're good for my brain. Then she goes to work. Mrs. Pham comes over, and we play cards or watch the news. When Jennifer gets home, we make dinner together. I still remember my recipes. We watch Jeopardy. I get about half the questions right. How do you feel about living with Jennifer?" Mom's eyes got soft. "I feel grateful. She didn't have to do this. She had her own life. But when I got scared, She came. She's been there every day. I don't know what I'd do without her. Dr. Martinez paused the video. The courtroom was quiet. The judge cleared his throat. Dr. Morrison, you said you haven't visited your mother in 2 years. Is that accurate? Rob looked uncomfortable. Your Honor, as I explained, my schedule is demanding. I've called. I've sent cards. Mom spoke up. You haven't called. Not once. Rob turned red. Mom, that's not. You called Jennifer. You asked her to convince me to sell my house. You said I should move into a facility. You said it would be easier. But you didn't ask me what I wanted. You never asked me what I want. The judge held up a hand. Mrs. Morrison, I need to ask you some questions directly. Is that all right? Mom nodded. Yes, Your Honor. Do you understand that your son is asking the court to make decisions on your behalf? Yes. And you don't want that? No, I don't. Why not? Mom's hands tightened on the armrests of the wheelchair. Because I'm not gone yet. I forget things. I get confused sometimes. But I'm still here. I still get to decide how I live, and I want to live with my daughter, in a home where people love me, not in a place where I'm just a patient. The judge wrote something down. Dr. Martinez, in your professional opinion, does Mrs. Morrison have the capacity to make decisions about her own care? Yes, Your Honor. Absolutely. And if her condition worsens? We have a plan in place. Jennifer has durable power of attorney for healthcare. Mrs. Morrison signed that document when she was first diagnosed. If she reaches a point where she can no longer make decisions, Jennifer will make them for her. But we're not there yet. We may not be there for years. Rob's attorney stood. Your Honor. A power of attorney signed under these circumstances is suspect. How do we know Mrs. Morrison wasn't coerced? Doctor. Martinez pulled out another document. Because I witnessed the signing, I can testify that Mrs. Morrison was fully informed and acting of her own free will. In fact, she was adamant about it. She said she didn't trust her son to put her interests first. Rob shot to his feet. That's a lie. The judge's voice was sharp. Sit down, Dr. Morrison. Dr. Martinez wasn't finished. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence. She opened another video file. This one showed Rob sitting across from Mom in a restaurant booth. The angle was awkward, like it was filmed from a purse on the table. In the video, Rob was talking. Mom, you need to think about this realistically. The house is too much for you. You can't manage it anymore. If you sell now, you could get a good price. I'll help you find a nice facility. Somewhere clean. Somewhere safe. Mom shook her head. I don't want to sell. Jennifer says I can stay with her. Jennifer doesn't know what she's talking about. She can't afford to take care of you. She can barely afford to take care of herself. She's doing fine. Mom, she's in debt. Did she tell you that? She's drowning, and now she's using you to stay afloat. Mom's voice got louder. That's not true. She's helping me. She's helping herself. Look, I don't want to be harsh, but you need to face facts. You're not getting better. You're getting worse. And when you can't take care of yourself anymore, what do you think is going to happen? Jennifer's going to put you in a state facility because she can't afford anything better. Is that what you want? Mom started crying. I don't want to leave my house. You don't have a choice. This is happening whether you like it or not. You can either do it now, while you still have some say, or you can wait until it's too late and end up somewhere terrible. The video stopped. The courtroom was silent. The judge looked at Rob. You told your mother she didn't have a choice? Rob's face was white. Your Honor, that was taken out of context. What context? I was trying to help her see reality. She wasn't being reasonable. Dr. Martinez spoke. Your Honor, that video was recorded by Mrs. Morrison herself. She put her phone on the table and hit record because she wanted proof of what her son was saying. She brought it to me a week later. She was devastated. She said, he only wants my money. Rob's attorney tried to salvage it. Your Honor, family conversations can be difficult. Dr. Morrison was frustrated. He wasn't threatening his mother. It sounds like a threat to me, the judge said. He turned to the clerk. Mark the medical records, the videos, and Dr. Martinez's testimony as exhibits. I want everything in the record. Then he looked at Rob. Dr. Morrison, I've heard enough. Your petition is denied. Rob stood. Your Honor, you can't. I absolutely can. Your mother is not incapacitated. She's capable of making her own decisions. And frankly, based on the evidence I've seen today, I have serious concerns about your motives. He turned to Dr. Martinez. Doctor, you mentioned a power of attorney. Is it still in effect? Yes, Your Honor. Jennifer holds durable power of attorney for healthcare and finances. It's broad and irrevocable unless Mrs. Morrison revokes it herself. And you're comfortable with that arrangement? Completely. Jennifer has been exemplary in her care. She attends every appointment. She follows medical instructions. She advocates for her mother. I couldn't ask for a better caregiver. The judge nodded. Then that's how it will remain. Mrs. Morrison will continue to live with her daughter. Jennifer Morrison will continue as power of attorney. Dr. Morrison, you're welcome to visit your mother, but you will not interfere with her care or her living arrangements. Do you understand? Rob didn't answer. His attorney whispered something to him. Finally, he nodded. Yes, Your Honor. The judge turned to Mom. Mrs. Morrison, is there anything else you'd like to say? Mom looked at Rob. Her eyes were sad. I loved you, Bobby. I still do. But you broke my heart today. You didn't come here because you were worried about me. You came here because you wanted my money, and I hope someday you realize what you lost. Rob looked away. The judge closed the file. This hearing is adjourned. The petition is denied with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled unless there's a substantial change in Mrs. Morrison's condition. Court is dismissed. The bailiff called everyone to stand. The judge left. Rob and his attorney walked out without looking back. His wife followed, her heels clicking on the tile floor. Doctor. Martinez put a hand on Mom's shoulder. You did great, Patricia. Mom smiled, but her eyes were wet. Thank you for coming, Elena. Of course. I'll see you next month for your follow-up, okay? Mom nodded. Dr. Martinez squeezed my arm on her way out. I watched her go, feeling like I could breathe for the first time in weeks. I knelt down next to Mom's wheelchair. You okay? She wiped her eyes. I'm okay, sweetheart. Are you? I nodded. Yeah, I am now. We sat there for a minute, not talking. The courtroom was empty, except for us. Outside, I could hear traffic, people going about their lives. The world kept turning. Can we go home? Mom asked. Yeah, I said. Let's go home. 3 weeks later, I got a letter from Rob's attorney. It was brief. They were withdrawing from the case permanently. No further action would be taken. The letter didn't say why, but I heard through a mutual acquaintance that Rob had been reported to the medical board for attempting to manipulate a patient assessment. Dr. Chen was under investigation too. Nothing would probably come of it, but it was something. Mom and I settled back into our routine. Breakfast, work, cards with Mrs. Pham, dinner, Jeopardy. She still forgot things. She still had bad days. But she also had good ones. On Saturdays, we went to the farmer's market. Mom loved the flowers. She'd pick out sunflowers or daisies, and I'd put them in a vase on the kitchen table. One Saturday, about a month after the hearing, she looked at me while we were walking between stalls. I'm sorry you had to go through that, she said. Through what? The court. Your brother. All of it. I know it was hard. I shook my head. Mom, you don't have to apologize. I do, though. You gave up so much to take care of me. You deserve better than a brother who only sees dollar signs. I stopped walking. Mom, look at me. She did. I didn't give up anything. I chose this. I chose you. And I'd choose you again every single day. Rob doesn't get to take that away. He doesn't get to make me regret it. Okay? She smiled. It was small, but it was real. Okay? We bought sunflowers. We went home. We made lunch. We watched old movies. And for a little while, everything felt like it was exactly where it was supposed to be. I learned something in that courtroom. It's not about the money. It's not about who has the bigger title or the nicer suit. It's about showing up. It's about being there on the hard days, the boring days, the days when nothing dramatic happens but someone still needs you. Rob never visited. He never called. As far as I know, he moved on with his life and pretended Mom didn't exist. And honestly, we were better off without him. Because love isn't a performance. It's not something you do when it's convenient or profitable. It's what you do when no one's watching. When there's no reward except knowing you did the right thing. Mom's still with me. She still forgets things. But she remembers that she's loved. And at the end of the day, that's what matters.